Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We will give another 2-3 minutes for the participants to join, and we will start.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Sergey, it seems most participants are already connected. Shall we start, maybe?
Yes. Good morning. My name is Sergey Stefanishin. I'm an associate director of Osler law firm, as well as an observer of CERBA board of directors in Toronto. I will be moderating today's session on industrial parks in Russia, and very happy to see that many participants this early morning in Toronto and this already late evening in Russia. So welcome everyone. I know that you will, I'm sure that you will enjoy today's discussion as we have got a great cohort of speakers who will be happy to share their experience of localization of foreign companies coming to the Russian market. And you're welcome to post your questions in chat, and we will then address them during the Q&A session. For the convenience of the speakers, please put your microphone on mute and just enjoy the presentations of the speakers. And as I said, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. I myself have been working in Russia as a legal advisor for multinational companies entering the Russian market, and I know that this topic of how to enter the foreign country is very critical for many companies, including during this turmoil period when there are many uncertainties, both like on the economic side and on the legislative side. So the topic which we have today is of great importance for many companies, considering not only the Russian market, but also on a broader scale like Eurasia as the platform for expanding their businesses. So I'm happy to give a floor to Marta Harrison, who is the chair of CERBA board of directors in Toronto, and she will start with welcome remarks.
Thank you so much, Sergey, and hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining us today. As Sergey indicated, my name is Marta Harrison. I'm a partner at the law firm of McCarthy Tétrault in Canada, and my area of expertise is international trade and investment. So I have the great pleasure of working with clients in matters that deal with cross-border investment, and I'm really looking forward to the discussion today. Wanted to say hello in particular on behalf of CERBA. I am indeed the chair of the board of the Toronto chapter, and I'm also a board member of the National CERBA board, of the National CERBA chapter. And we are an independent nonprofit organization that promotes bilateral trade and investment between Canada and Eurasia. So this kind of opportunity to reach out to you and to share thoughts and objectives on how we can increase that promotion of bilateral investment is always a welcome opportunity for us. We are a membership-based association that represents over 140 corporations and individuals, and we have about 9 chapters. We support business development with international conferences and seminars, just like the one that we are hosting today. And I'd also like to give our thanks to the Association for the Industrial Parks of Russia, who's our partner on this project today. Again, really looking forward to hearing this discussion, and we encourage all of you who are attending today, if you're finding this discussion interesting, please check on the CERBA website, come back and check. We have a lot of content that we're going to be offering moving forward online, and we'd like to share it with you. Also encourage you to consider membership in a local CERBA chapter in order for us to help you meet your business objectives and business opportunities in terms of investment in and out of Canada with respect to the Eurasian market. So thanks again for attending, and I'm looking forward to the discussion today.
Thank you so much, Martha. We are honored to have today among our speakers Consul General of Russia in Canada, Mr. Kirill Mihайлов, and I would like to welcome Mr. Mihайлов, and I give the floor to for him to make a presentation today.
Thank you for the kind introduction. Dear participants of the roundtable, allow me to welcome you to this virtual event highlighting the evolution and current state of affairs with industrial parks in Russia. It is always a pleasure to be a part of CERBA's undertakings, of which I hope there are many more soon to come. In line with the times, we have to substitute our physical presence at such functions with an ethereal one. First, I hope it's only temporary and short-lived kind of temporary, but most importantly, I believe it should not alter the basic paradigm of international business. You go where there are opportunities, abundant and available. And in my, though biased opinion, Russia continues, and increasingly so, to be just a place. Before COVID-19, our country was experiencing a prolonged period of good economic health and was on the steady uphill in many areas and indicators. 28th in World Bank Doing Business 2020 report and rising. As elsewhere, we took a serious hit from the pandemic-related disruptions, but are quickly recovering and doing so with all due caution. We remain ambitious in our economic development goals, with the government and business communities capable to deliver. Our international footprint continues to expand and diversify. It includes on large scale such high-tech sectors as nuclear power generation, space launches, software engineering, communications, complex military systems. We are in the front row of using e-government and e-business, introducing artificial intelligence into various economic and social spheres. Helped by external pressures, Russia is experiencing not only agricultural, but also industrial renaissance. Just a few notable achievements to that effect of the recent months that come to mind. Bringing online the first ever floating nuclear power plant, now operational in the Far East. Expanding our single in the world icebreaker fleet with the latest and modernized flagship editions. Launch of the first produced in Russian docks Aframax oil tanker to serve on the Northern Maritime route. We're the first to register and start producing COVID-19 vaccine and pharmacy sold treatment. Second vaccine is on its way. Another example, so to say, closer to home, just concluded virtual TIFF industry had a major influx of Russian companies, 27 in all, successfully selling their big screen and TV products to all markets, including North America. This is just a glimpse of opportunities and business climate out there. I hope that today's roundtable will helpfully expand your horizons in that respect. And I wish you would eventually act upon the acquired knowledge. With this, I pass you into the capable hands of true professionals. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mihайлов, for being able to join us today. And I would like to pass the microphone to Mr. Valery Maksimov, who is the Senior Trade Commissioner of Russia in Canada. And he will give us a brief overview of trade situation in Russia.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Sergey. Добрый вечер всем коллегам, участникам нашего онлайн круглого стола из России. Good morning, dear participants from Canada. I'm delighted to meet all of you here, and I'm happy that you will have a first-hand introduction with the Russian Federation's industrial parks ecosystem. I'm a senior trade commissioner of the Russian Federation in Canada. Our office is located in Ottawa, and we are here to promote bilateral economic and trade relations between Russia and Canada. In Russia, we have made tectonic changes during the last 20 years to create favorable economic conditions for foreign and domestic investors. Today, all investors have different options for their businesses, such as special investment contracts, regional investment projects, special economic zones, territories of advanced socioeconomic development, and others. You can also find unique regions like Kaliningradskaya Oblast, which is located in the most western part of Russia. 1 month ago, they introduced their investment potential to Canadian businesses during their presentation organized by the CERBA and the Russian Trade Mission in Canada. The region has been pioneering in Russia as a special economic zone from the mid-90s of the 20th century. The Oblast's full territory is a special economic zone, and all investors can enjoy tax incentives and the well-developed infrastructure of the region. Dear participants of our online roundtable, today you have an opportunity to meet people running industrial parks in Russia and to hear success stories, including Canadian ones. There is no doubt that Russia's strength lies in its regions, where you will find a rich diversity of manufacturing production, natural resources, well-developed infrastructure, and human capital. Each region has a distinct flavor and provides enormous opportunities for new businesses, projects. Indeed, in each region, you will find a robust business community with an excellent appetite for innovation and equal partnership. We have seen how Russia's regions have successfully implemented large-scale projects, developed their markets, and adopted new technologies, and have seen how new business leaders have emerged. I hope you will find your region for doing business and write your success story into the region's history. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maximov, for making this overview of economical and trade situation in Russia. And as we all know, there are different forms how you can do business, how you can start business in another country. An industrial park is probably one of the platforms which is convenient for these purposes. The history of industrial parks has more than maybe 100 years in Europe. And Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first one was done by Ford.
We have this story approximately 100 years.
Okay. And the history of industrial parks in Russia is probably not that long, but still is quite successful and has been evolving quite rapidly. And I would like to introduce the next speaker, Dennis Jurowski, who is the CEO of the Association of Industrial Parks in Russia. He has been in that capacity. He's been working in that capacity for the last 10 years. And over that period, he has accumulated the experience of many industrial parks across Russia from different regions, has seen a lot, has done a lot. So I welcome Denis and give the floor to Denis to share his experience and thoughts.
Sergey, thanks a lot for this great introduction. And it's really a big pleasure for me to present here the Association of Industrial Parks of Russian Federation and our community. So it's really great. But before I start, let me first of all to greet all Canadian participants on behalf of the Association of Industrial Parks of Russia and on behalf of all our members. Many of them are participating in this event, and they will give their presentation. And I should say, on behalf of all of us, that we really value this opportunity to network, to get new contacts with Canadian businesses and share our thoughts on the latest developments in business environment in Russia. And this is our aim of participating in this seminar. I would also like to express appreciation to the Russian Trade Mission in Canadian, to our ambassadors there. It's really a great job, and we feel your support in connection with Canadian businesses. And also I should say big thanks to CERBA, which is our key partner in relation with Canadian business. It's not the first our common event. We have already conducted several events in Russia, and now it's a great idea to have the dialogue directly between Russia and Toronto community and other companies who joined the seminar from Canada. I think it's a good opportunity. We're really missing the face-to-face format. It was initially it was the idea to come to Toronto and have it in reality, but unfortunately we should accept real conditions. So it means that we should twice value the opportunity to talk to each other. I think it's a great idea. So let me please share my screen. I hope you can see my presentation. So I would start my presentation with obvious stuff. You can see this slide. It's really commonplace that Russia is huge. I think every participant can support this idea. Maybe we all know that it's one of the biggest countries, but I would stress some very specific features which we should keep in mind when we start thinking about investments in Russia. There are obvious stuff like big population. We have one language instead of several languages, state languages in different countries, like in Canada, for example. But when we deal with Russia, we should keep in mind that there are 190 nationalities living in the country and speaking in 37 languages. So it doesn't mean that in some regions people don't understand Russian. They understand Russian and they speak Russian in each region because it's only one state regions. But there are some cultural features which I do recommend to take into account when you start dealing with Russian companies and dialogue with Russian partners. And another important feature of complexity of Russian Federation is that it's federation, and we have 3 levels of governmental power: federal, regional, and municipal. And the same situation reflects on the legislation. That's why, Sergey, it's maybe about your job and your colleagues, because I mean that legal aspects and the laws are very important when you deal with Russian legislation, because it's very complex, and the regulation might be, it is the same. I mean, it is the same in each region, but it might be different between different levels. Some stuff regulated by federal legislation, and the decision makers are in Moscow, in federal ministries, etc. And some stuff you should discuss with regional levels. And regional situation is also very different. For example, if you have, I mean, being in Canada, if you have some partners or maybe friends who have experience in Russian Federation, and I would not recommend you to reflect this experience on the whole country, because it's a big difference between Sverdlovsk and Ulyanovsk, Penza, for example. They all are participating at this event. They will demonstrate your presentations, but and you will not see this big difference. It's not obvious from the first view. but the difference is in climate conditions and natural sources, some industry specifics. And when you start real business, you can feel this difference. That's why we have development institutions in regions, and they appeared during last 10 years, and it's really important, their job. They support businesses in dealing with these regional specifics and with dealing with regional and local authorities in getting some registration approvals, etc., etc. So it's it was just a picture that that demonstrates complexity of the country, of the huge country. And that it means that we are not trying to sell you the opportunities. When we sell you opportunities, we remember about complexity, and we are ready to help you to overcome these difficulties while dealing with Russian Federation. So now I will switch to opportunities. You can see some very general indicators on this slide, on this screen. It's actually, there are the key operational expenses for any business which you can imagine. Let's take the key rate for instance. You can see the dynamic during last 10-15 years, and what I'm thinking about now, what I want to stress by demonstrating this slide, is not just simple reduction of the key rate. You know it from that. Yes, it is a reduction, but the idea of this slide is that it's not just a fall, it's not just a turbulence, it's a trend. The business conditions are becoming better and better during the last years, and you can see this very stable dynamic. Another example is the average salary. When we conducted this survey, we have taken just comparable figures. It's not about when we talk Russia, when we compare Russia and China, we did not compare salaries in Moscow and in Beijing, for example. It was really about the industrial regions like Guangzhou and Smolensk, for example, in Russia. And we can on this slide we can see that we have approximately similar growth of average wages in industrial sector in Europe, in China as an example, and in Russia. But due to currency devaluation in 2015, you can see that these two graphs crossed, and since that time, there is a fact that the average level of salaries is growing both in China and in Russia, but in China it became higher than in Russia. So it's just one of examples. Another example is gas and electricity. It's also very, I hope that you are familiar with this information. It's not a secret that all resources, the key resources which we use for industrial production, for manufacturing in Russia, they're much cheaper than in other economics, particularly in Asia and in European countries. And this slide is just a picture, a small piece of the survey conducted by international company. It's an engineering and construction management company which is member of the Association of Industrial Parks, and we a couple years ago, we conducted such type of survey for for companies, for investors from Europe who was considering construction of the manufacturing in Russia. So it was also interesting conclusion. If you can see the graph with cost for construction of industrial building. Again, if we see the dynamic of prices during last 10 years in local currencies, it's flat, approximately flat in Eastern Europe, again in Russia, the same. But if we compare it in dollars, you can see that starting from 2016, Russia became again much cheaper than the same cost in Europe. And yeah, it's because of ruble devaluation. But if you see on the situation in Russia from the perspective of international businesses, you can use such approach like we do on this slide. And why I decided to raise this topic, because I want to stress that it's very important to conduct such type of surveys, whether it's construction cost, whether it's economic, whether it's marketing surveys or legal surveys. It's very important to customize this information to your business, to your perspective, and double check whether it fits your expectations or not. And then on this slide you can see our general approach when we deal with international businesses and invite you to dialogue and promise you some support or assistance in in dealing with Russian companies. So we don't sell you only opportunities. We would provide you with the complex picture, and you can see that one and the same figure, one and the same fact could be considered both as a threat and opportunity. It depends on your business. That's why I don't recommend to make conclusions based on general information about Russia, because first of all the information is changing. You could see it on my previous slides, and the second point that it might be opportunity and strength and weakness depend on your aim and depend on your business, depend on your industry. It really depends on many factors. And in this case, you need to get support from professional companies like legal advisors, like engineering companies, or in the managing company of industrial park or special economical zone or regional development institution. We have it in each region. Some of them will give presentations after my speech. You will have an opportunity to address your question to them. But it's really important institution which appeared just during last 10 years in each region. And the aim is to help the company to pass through this critical way of any investors, starting from business idea, then you can pass through such stages like design, construction, commissioning, and then operating of existing industrial facilities. On each stage, we have very professional and well-developed institutions in Russian Federation who can really support you on this difficult way. And regarding, I have already mentioned that one of these institutions are industrial parks. And on this slide, you can see the development of the area of industrial parks. It's really significant growth. Sergey mentioned that the first industrial park appeared maybe 100 years ago. I mean, industrial parks as a business. So yeah, in Russia, it's really fresh. Our association is celebrating just 10 years now. We has been established in 2010, also in October. And it means that the first industrial parks appeared in Russian Federation maybe a bit earlier than 10 years, maybe 15 years ago. It shaped the industry just during last 10 years. And you can see the significant growth of number of industrial parks. Now we have 270 industrial parks. Most of them has been established 5, 6, 7 years ago. And for this moment, only 60% of I mean, 40% is vacant now, and you can see that the rest is occupied by 2,000 new residents, which also appeared during last 5 years. Starting, these figures are covered the period starting from 2013. So it expresses the huge development of industrial park because demand is really high. You can see on this slide the differentiation of the demand for industrial parks divided from different countries where investors are coming from. Yeah, obvious that the half of all investments in industrial parks of Russian Federation belongs to Russian companies, but another half of investments are divided between other countries. And we really hope that in the next couple of years we will see Canada on this slide. So I will not go deeper into our analytics because we have a lot of figures, different statistics, etc., etc. If you are interested in this deep dive, you can address it to our association, and we will provide you with all necessary information. But before I finish, I would stress a couple of important services which might be interesting for Canadian audience. One of them is our assistance in site search exercises in Russia if you need it. If you want to start production in any form, I mean, it could be contract production, it could be joint venture, it could be your own plant, green field or brown field. Anyway, you can expect our support within this service. By the way, it's free of charge for all industrial companies. We are not willing to earn on this. It's just our general mission to provide industrial companies all over the world with objective, relevant information on existing situation in industrial parks. It works, again, very simply. You can use this service in English language, in Russian language. In future, maybe some other languages, but now English is working. You just submit your technical parameters of the project, and after our association will coordinate, and you will get the flow of customized offers from all regions of Russian Federation, because we unite most industrial parks and special economical zone within the association. It means that if you use our service, you will cover all industrial parks in the country. The same approach with the question how to establish their production. And in this case, you also can address to our association. We will be happy, based on the expertise of our members, to provide you with their professional advisory in different areas like design, construction, asset management, facility management, etc. So feel free to ask us, and it's also free of charge service for industrial companies all over the world. So, and a couple of words about our organization. It's very similar to CERBA. We also membership-based association. We unite most industrial parks from Russia. We have 150 members, legal entities from 48 regions of Russian Federation. So, as any industry association, we support our members within the country with some standards, with business intelligence, with governmental affairs in Russia. But also, we are ready to announce that starting from last year, we support international companies with site search and with any issues which you need, any questions which you need regarding the localization of your production facilities in our country. So it's our mission. We will be happy to help you with this. Sorry for such a long speech. That's all. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer right now or maybe in the end of the seminar. Sergey.
Thank you so much, Denis, for this great overview. If I'm to summarize what you have said, basically one of the key questions which I've often heard and which I still hear from foreign investors considering entering the Russian market, what would be the key benefits, if you just to name a few, of entering the Russian market through the industrial park versus like standalone project when a company would start building a plant, basically in greenfield or brownfield basis?
Yeah. So the key benefit is that the company can avoid non-profit, some headache from other industries. If the company is specialized on production of machinery, for example, they don't have experience in construction of gas facilities. And coming to the industrial park, they can do it faster with less risks, and they can avoid these activities which they don't used to have. That's the point. But again, you should keep in mind that the key benefits which company can get depends on the industry, depends on the business. That's why I would propose to start thinking about business in Russia and having industrial production in Russia, to start it from some surveys based on professional expertise of special companies or regional development institutions. And only in such a case you can get this conclusion: what are the certain benefits can get your company coming in a certain region in Russian Federation.
Okay. Thank you, Dennis. Is there any particular industry which you can name which has been booming in Russia in terms of like industrial parks during the last 3-5 years?
Yes, I think digital industry is it's significant growth in digital area, and I think all over the world, but particularly in Russia.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your presentation, Dennis. And thank you for joining us today. While it is always interesting and great to hear this broad and general overview of what's happening in the country, what are the pitfalls, threats, and opportunities, it is always. I think the investors are always eager to hear the real stories, the success stories from other companies who has already done some steps in entering the another market. And I'm happy that today we have Roman Bachharovsky, Director of MiniCut Manufacturing, which is a Canadian company specializing in the manufacture of high performance cutting tools for the aerospace, defense, automotive, and metalworking industries. And Roman would be happy to share their experience about legalization of Canadian company in Russian industrial park. We have had some well, a brief discussion with Roman before the session has started, and I said that we would be happy to hear the success story, and Roman said, well, it's we're still at the start stage, so we have entered the Russian market. Then COVID has hit many businesses, including our sectors, but I still think it's a great success that you have taken this step and that you're progressing further. So I wish you good luck with that. And I welcome you to share your experience about legalization of your company in Russian industrial park.
Okay, thank you, Sergey. Hello, everyone. I'm see presentation, Dennis. Thank you very much. And your presentation, I see a very correct strategy by step-by-step localization import business in Russia country. I have successful experience localization Russian business from Austria, from Canada in Russian market. So, Director company manufacturing in Sverlovsk region, Titanium Valley Special Economic Zone. So for understanding my successful stories, just let me show you my presentation, please. Okay. So MiniCut International, this is Canadian company specializing in manufacturing of high-performance cutting tools for aerospace, defense, automotive, and metalworking industries. For 50 years, MiniCut passion for engineering, innovation, and performance drive cutting tools. MiniCut has experienced teams, engineer, technical, and tool market, and operate state equipment and manufacturing system. If you know, MiniCut International company is a part of YG1 Holding, South Korea, and owned by YG1 company. In this year, YG1 full buying company MiniCut, and many engineer, many equipment goes to Korea for start production some tool in Korea. Now made in Korea, before made in Canada. we usually use MiniCut technology in Russia. An official representative in MiniCut company in Russia country, this is a tooling company, Yekaterinburg. You can see a website. Very popular tool for cutting material. This is HSS, high-speed steel and carbide and mill, and used for cutting titanium and high-resistant steel in aerospace industry. The main customer is high-performance MiniCut tools in Sverdlovsk region. This is company VSMPO plant, production of air components, Boeing, Airbus for Russian airspace, and Ural Boeing manufacturing. This is plant for production Boeing's airspace components. In the picture, you can see real manufacturing process, chassis, wheels for airplane. The plant is located in Верхняя Salda, more 100 kilometers from Yekaterinburg. Good roads, no problem. 2 hours in Salda. And in 2015 years, an agreement has signed between YG1 company, South Korea, and represent President Hu Kin-song, Korea, and guys from tooling company, and this is Mikhail Zaitsev and Sergei Ushakov, in estimated joint venture for production of monolithic cutting tools in titanium volume, this special economic zone. And start building process. In the picture, you can see a real building to 1,000 meters, where economic zone have electricity, water, gas, everyone element for start production. In titanium volume, Верхняя Salda, only 3 resident Ural Boeing manufacturing, MiniCut tooling manufacturing, and little company Zibus production detail for medicine. Here you can see construction plant. We in the future want to buy 18 position Anka machine for grading tools. We have equipment for measuring, for checking, marking, packing, full period for production, full product brand MiniCut and YG1. We have special equipment you can see for measuring, for production. At the moment we have only 2 position Anka machine. I think in the future we can buy more equipment and production more position for aerospace industry in Russia. And of course we use Canadian technology from MiniCut for production of milling cutting in the company. And company MiniCut Canada give us driving technology and service support if we locate new model and mill in our joint venture production tooling manufacturing. And we of course have special license agreement for production of MiniCut products in Russia. And you can see, of course, our products. This is end mill, cutter rotor, special mill, very popular for production aerospace, for example, ring of turbine for engine, aerospace engine. And of course, grading old mill, and we make new mill. That's all. That's all. Welcome to cooperation. If you have some questions, please ask me.
Thank you so much, Roman. If I may ask you, what would be your what would be your key advice to other foreign investors considering entering the Russian market, and who are still in doubt whether or not to proceed, whether the environment, the business environment is friendly? What would you say? What would be your piece of advice?
Oh, we work. You mean who work with us from Canada's side?
So you were cutting out. So could you repeat your question?
Just a second. We work in Canada side with guys who speak in Russian language, and we have connection with technical specialists from Canada, MiniCut, and we include technology Canada in Russian market, Russian products.
Yeah, my question was more like on a broader side. Would you say that in general the business environment is investor friendly? At least what you have seen.
You mean special economic zone?
Yeah, or in general, whether it's in the special economic zone or just in a broader sense.
So when company start including Russian market and start production process, start building process in Russian, I know titanium volume very good support from Sverdlovsk region, from titanium volume, and helpful us for integrate business plan in for special economic zone. Very good support from Russian side.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, and thank you once again, Roman, for your presentation. And I would like to introduce our next speaker, Vadim Tretyakov, who is an advisor to the governor of the Sverdlovsk region, basically, as we have learned, where MiniCut is now operating and located. Vadim would be happy to share with us his thoughts about opportunities for industrial cooperation in the region, and basically talk about what foreign business can achieve in the region and how the success can be achieved. So I'm happy to give a floor to Vadim. Vadim, I guess you're on mute.
And now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sergey, thank you very much for the question. Thank you for the invitation to join this conference. I have a small presentation. So today, using the example of Sverdlovsk region, I'd like to introduce the possibilities for Canadian business of working in Russia in partnership with regional companies, and opportunities for localization with, of course, supporting of local authorities. First of all, let me tell you several words about the region. Sverdlovsk region, recognized as the industrial capital of Russia, is the biggest one after Moscow and St. Petersburg, with a population about 5 million people. Major factors of successful business development are infrastructure and highly educated, skilled human resources. The level of social economic development of Sverdlovsk region is one of the highest in Russia. The region performs stable economic growth. major basis of the economy is manufacturing industry. Regional industrial production grows annually by 2%. Also, region generates an excess balance of power and electricity. And of course, all these factors create a comfortable environment for business development. Of course, we consider the cooperation with our Canadian partners as a matter of strategic importance. Even numbers show us there is a solid potential to work on. If we take a look at trade statistics between Canada and Sverdlovsk region, we can see that by the end of last year, trade turnover has almost doubled. And Canada jumped to the 26th place in the list of Sverdlovsk trade partners. For instance, the year before was 38. As you may see, number of export and import in the previous year become almost equal. At the same time, high-tech products and products of deep processing prevail in the export structure. Statistics shows that regional engineering products are in high demand in Canada, as well as metallurgical goods. At the same time, the previous year, the almost of inorganic chemical products imported from Canada also performed reasonable growth. Indeed, there is an obvious economic cooperation potential, and with mutual affairs, we can reach new achievements. The system of business support is also very well structured in our region. One of the key regional business development institute is Development Corporation of the Sverdlovsk region. This corporation focuses on the infrastructure development, work with investors, and the investment project management. We have a professional team which may assist in case you would like to start business activity with partners or have intention to localize manufacturing facilities there. And the very important fact that according to this fact, corporation was created by the Sverdlovsk region government, and all services are absolutely free of charge for the investors. There are all government support programs for business development available in Sverdlovsk region. There are a number of industrial sites with the special tax benefits and prepared all necessary infrastructure. We have special economic zone, as well as priority social economic development areas. It calls PCEDDA. It's very complicated. Special economic zone Titanium Valley was established 10 years ago. The site has already attracted more than $100 million of private investment. Also, we have PCEDA Bogoslovsky Industrial Park in Krasnotorinsk city. It was created only 4 years ago. And now about $14 million have already been invested in the infrastructure by our region. The site of number of tax preferences, for instance, land and property tax is 0%, income tax 5%, and federal funding for priority investment projects at a rate of 0%. As you can see, foreign business is very active in Sverdlovsk region. Many companies have localized their production there. Today, such huge enterprises like Boeing, Siemens, Saint-Gobain, and Bayer are already presented in our region. Also, we have a Canadian business which is also presented our region. And 2 years ago, MiniCut company had started, and Roman has already told us about the experience doing business in Sverdlovsk region. And, thank you very much, Roman, for the excellent mark of our job for preparation of all necessary infrastructure. This is a very important slide. I especially would like to focus on our cooperation in aviation sector. There is an aircraft building cluster that is also developing in our region. Company Uralborg of Civil Aviation manufacturing facility is located on the territory of Special Economic Zone Titanium Valley. 5 years ago, the company launched a commercial assembly of Bell helicopters, which manufacturing site is also located in Canada. One of the modified version of this helicopter fitted with medical equipment was presented on the biggest industrial fair in Russia, INAPROM. Unfortunately, this year INAPROM was held only online format, but I do hope that in the next year INAPROM will be held in Yekaterinburg, and we will have an opportunity to meet each other offline. So that is very briefly. If you have any question, please not hesitate to contact me. We are always open to dialogue and ready to develop cooperation and provide all necessary assistance. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Vadim, for your presentation. And we're going to take a small trip from Sverdlovsk to Stupino, which is another special economic zone. And I'm happy to give a floor to Timur Tsupikov, who is the Business Development Director in SAS Stupino Quadrat. And he will brief us about customs and tax issues in, or tax and customs aspects of doing business in special economic zone.
Thank you, Sergey. Hello to our respected Canadian partners, and hello to everybody who is joining today this video discussion. It is very interesting. Thank you for previous presentations. And I would also like to give special thanks to my friend Dennis for a very fresh and vivid view to the Russian map with this Kremlin, the Moscow Kremlin, and with this famous Russian bear somewhere in eastern Siberia. It was brilliant. I hope you will share this picture with everybody. So I would also like to thank Mr. Mihайлov, Consul General of Russia, for a very good sight on what we are facing here with industrial development. And I have underlined his words during the speech about industrial renaissance that we are having, that we are facing here in Russia. I absolutely agree with this thesis, and can add that we are facing together with industrial renaissance here in Russia, infrastructural and competence revolution. So what I mean that today we have seen lots of presentations, and we have seen lots of areas and mechanisms and instruments to help investors from all over the world to invest in Russia, and this is true. And from this side, I would like to to tell you that our approach in our special economic zone, not far from Moscow, it's 80 kilometers from Moscow, our approach and one of our slogans is that investors should concentrate only on production and sales, and the rest is our job. Who is this our job? This is the professional managing team of industrial park or special economic zone that can and should and must, in my opinion, help and be competent in all matters that the investor can face while implementing his project. And that is why our next slogan, one of our best slogans, is making investments happen by making investors happy. I'm absolutely persuaded that investments happen all over the world only when the stakeholders or the shareholders or those persons who are taking decisions about investment, they find proofs to the idea that they may be happy with their investment in the place where they invest. So that is our job, that is our task. And today, the Russian side of this conversation may give you countless of proofs, countless of big numbers of mechanisms and so on to prove the stakeholder, the shareholder, that he has, it may have a wide diversity of choice in the Russian Federation to make his investment efficient, effective, and so on. So today I was also asked by the moderator to speak, to touch upon those incentives and benefits that the foreign investor as well as the Russian investor may achieve and enjoy in Russia. I will speak about special economic zones because, well, from my point of view, when we are speaking about customs and tax benefits and incentives, the best incentives you may get using this regime of special economic zone. So first of all, these are tax benefits and incentives. Well, I hope you have sight of my presentation, and here you can see some figures. The first figure is connected with the profit tax, and we can see that the rest territory of the Russian Federation has a 20% rate on profit tax. If you localize your manufacturing in the special economic zone, you will have 2% during the first years, and then 6 years, the rate will be 7%. And which is more persuasive, 15.5% by the year 2069 in our special economic zones. And those special economic zones are created for 49 years, so the investor can be sure that these rates will not change to him when he is localizing his manufacturing in a special economic zone. The same thing, incentives, big incentives for property, land, and transport taxes. So we have 0 rates for a certain period of times in comparison to the rates in the right column on the rest territory of the Russian Federation. Another very important topic and issue that being in a special economic zone, you can face and achieve and enjoy very good incentives and benefits for VAT, value-added tax, and customs duties. How does it work? So when you're developing a project, when you're constructing your future manufacturing plan, you will in some way, or even in 80% projects, you will have to import manufacturing lines from abroad. Thus, it means that you're obliged to pay VAT tax and customs duties when the raw materials, or when the manufacturing lines are entering the Russian Federation. So if you are if you're a member, a resident of the special economic zone, you may enjoy the special tax regime. Within this special tax regime, you are not obliged to pay VAT and tax duties. Depending on the branch of industry, depending on the project, this may lead to economy 30% of all the costs of the manufacturing lines which you are going to bring to your future manufacturing. Touching upon raw materials, in fact, this very regime works in the following way. So again, if you have raw materials, and that happens very often, raw materials from abroad, you bring them to your manufacturing plant without VAT and custom duties, and you don't pay it in the period when they are not manufactured, when they are not when they have not entered the stage of final product. When you manufacturing on your plant and getting your final good, your final product, and selling it selling it to your customer, only in this very period of time you will have to pay the customs duties and the VAT. So that means that you have a very good economy in this way as well. We have in Stupina Quadrat 5 years experience. We are not very old one, speaking about our age, so we are celebrating this year 5 years. And we are the first private special economic zone in the Russian Federation, but still our managing team have very good experience in many fields of industry and many fields of supporting and providing investment. And during these years, we have we have come to the conclusion that each investor coming and localizing on the Russian market will in some way and in some time face these very questions. And a very good decision for the investor not to be alone facing this question. So here you can see that, first of all, it will be business infrastructure, and I would underline that in this way, in this very thing, it's very important to have a small place for those people who will be hired for the first time while localizing, and we are providing this place, co-working center in our special economic zone, for you to come here to have some work, to have some communication with your partners and so on. Secondly, you will face recruitment questions, and this is a very important topic, because depending on the region, investor will face the question of the average salary, the question of competence of people surrounding the area he has chosen for the future manufacturing. So we are eager to help with all these questions as well. Social infrastructure, a very important topic, and this is also our experience, because we have several, maybe half of our today residents is international companies, and when top managers of international companies come to Russia, to Moscow region, to our special economic zone, they search around with their eyes the social surrounding, the social environment. It means that the future investor or top manager thinks on this very moment where he or his colleagues will live while implementing this project, while opening the manufacturing, while managing the manufacturing in future. And this is very important, to have a good social infrastructure and social environment for international companies. And I would say that we are situated not far from Moscow, 80 kilometers, and in this way, in this very topic, we can also give strong proofs that the social infrastructure would be on a high level. Consulting, operating business, transport and logistics, these are questions that the future investor or the investor is facing anytime and every day. So in this way, the investor should also be not alone facing these questions. And I think that today's infrastructural competence and maybe the way of thinking of the Russian people, of the Russian young people who are thinking about future of the country, future of investments in this country, we are on a good way, and the infrastructure we have today and the way we develop it may be, well, the leading proof to the decision to come to Russia and to see some areas and platforms for future investment. So thank you very much. I hope I was brief enough. I can speak about this theme very, very long, but still we have other people with presentations, our colleagues with presentations. I will be happy to communicate with all of you in the future events, and I think that we should continue in this way, making a good network between Canada and Russia for future, for making investments and being happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Timur. I very much enjoyed your slogan, because happy investors are good investors. And thank you for sharing and summarizing these tax and customs benefits. I think the figures, they speak for themselves. And I'm happy to introduce the next speaker, Alina Abitova, who is the Deputy CEO of Ulyanovsk Region Development Corporation. And I think her presentation, New Investment Reality, would be a good follow-up on what Timur has said, as Alina in particular will touch on certain measures of state support of investment projects in Ulyanovsk region.
Yes, hello dear colleagues and friends. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and thank you for all the previous speakers for such a detailed reports. And I'd like to mention, to stress additionally that from organizers, it was such a task not to make an advertisement to some particular territory or some particular park, and just to make the general overview of what is happening in investment climate in Russia, and the example of Ulyanovsk region. And that is the topic which I would like to tell you about today. For more than 10 years already, I'm responsible in the region of Ulyanovsk for the regional promotion, for getting in contact with international industrial companies from all over the world, and for persuading them to localize their activities and their plans in the region of Ulyanovsk. So there are my slides, and I would like to ask organizers to make this from the very beginning. Is this possible? So please just switch to the first slide. Does anyone hear me? Oh, yes, perfect. Thank you very much. Yes. So today I speak about new investment reality and new investment opportunities, so to say, in Russia in general. And I would like to say that this issue of, so to say, favorable investment climate, which was discussed today in previous reports and will be discussed for coming next years and months, is an extremely important issue for now. And there are really, so to say, already very strict components of what favorable investment climate is. So what does favorite investment climate consist of? So for taking a decision on investing for some particular territory, usually some new territory, companies just check whether there are some state support for and protection for investors, whether there are some good infrastructure, whether there are good and competencies of labor resources, and whether there are possibilities for cooperation, what are the technologies, and so on. And these are the factors of the favorable investment climate. So please put the first slide. These are the factors of the investment climate which each territory or each development team. Could you please switch my first slide? Thank you. And these are the factors which each regional development team can influence. These factors can be improved. And the only factor that can be, so to say, influenced by the territory or by the regional government is geography, so geographical position of this region. And from the other point, the major factor of the favorable investment climate is the decision of regional development team to step the way of constant improvements of this climate, because macro conditions are changing and economics are changing, and last year showed us very well that nothing is constant, and due to for this very geographical reason, even entire branches stopped because the supply chains was stopped and some to say disrupted. And that is why the major thing which provides the best investment climate in any territory is the will of the local team to provide to their partners best conditions, best possible conditions in this territory, best possible regimes, protection, and support for their projects, so to say. So please, next slide, please. As for the Russian market, in June this year, we had our local conference. So it was called New Investment Opportunities in Ulyanovsk. And there was different experts from Russia and abroad, and they were discussing how to provide the best conditions and which are the conditions that are needed for investors, Russian and foreign. And there was mentioned that the recovery of economy is possible and for coming year, and possible due to two major ways or directions of development is import substitution in Russia, and also the provision of protection to investors and export development as well. So that is the, so to say, combination of factors which will bring the development and recovery to the economy of Russia. For us as the subject of the federation, these are, so to say, these directions are indicators in which spheres currently there may be some growth. As for the region, the Ulyanovsk region, for the last year, we did not find anything unusual or anything, so to say, which was new for us in preferences of foreign investors in Russia. Also, we have very big amount of applications to provide sites and conditions for doing business in our region from German and United States companies and from Japanese companies as well. And really we are very proud today for, so next slide please, for I think that this best illustration for the atmosphere in different companies and foreign companies here that our existing plants and companies which already made investments in Ulyanovsk region, they try to, they continue investing and they realize new projects in different spheres. So please, next slide. Yes, here just the illustration. So you can see the companies which are already work in Ulyanovsk region, but all these companies this year finish and complete or begin their new projects. So second projects in Ulyanovsk region. For example, this logistic complexes, different investments into equipment, the construction of second stages and some new facilities in the same region. And this also very good indicator for our job and for the, so to say, atmosphere and mood of investors for us. So can we please come to the previous slide again? And as for the new branches, for us, we made huge analytics for last months for which are the branches which will be, so to say, good for doing business in Russia for coming years due to last virus, so to say, consequences. So this production of goods of first necessity, production of, which is very important, of raw materials for pharmaceutical industry, and so ready-made medicines. The food industry, food processing is of great importance now. Also, which is now is really, so to say, needed in Russia is production of components or some units for different branches. I mean, machinery and automotive industry and special technique and agricultural and so on. Due to, again, this virus situation when the supply chains was broken and it was huge need of local suppliers of good quality and big amount of components, and that is really the new reality for investment in Russia right now. Also, so next two slides again, please. As for, and one more, please. And as for Ulyanovsk region, our new measures for how to support investors, how to provide the best investment climate. We remember that all the components, entire components, investment climate are represented in Ulyanovsk region for now. But there are now there are some components of this climate which are become more significant for foreign companies, in particular in Russia. And first, this component is the protection of investors, so guarantee that the investors and provided support regime will be, so to say, provided for the entire living period of the project and entire operation of the company in the region. So, for example, in Ulyanovsk, we already launched the system of adoption of all possible legislation to support and protect our investors from changing of macroeconomics. And also you can see on slide all the measures. I won't stop here. It's really boring, but this now I can say that in the Ulyanovsk region we have the most up-to-date legislation base, which provides the full sphere and full range of protection to companies realizing investment projects into the investments in particular. Okay, next slide, please. As for the legislation and tax incentive system, in the region. For now, in our region, we try to provide all the possible in Russia today measures of support, all the possible regimes of support to investors, and each regime which is implemented today in Russia is presented in Ulyanovsk region. That is also the component of favorable investment climate. So to provide the variety of territories, and Timur in his previous report, he very in details told you about the regime of special economic zone, and this territory in Ulyanovsk region does the same with slight difference, but very important difference. For example, in a special economic zone in Ulyanovsk region, it is possible to start not with industrial production, but start with trading. You can come there, bring your goods, keep there as long as you need, and sell it to the Russian market, to Russian customers, and you will have the same incentives like industrial producers inside this territory. Okay, and as for other regimes and other locations, also they are provided inside Ulyanovsk. As for our export support, so now we have such a policy for developing of export and export potential of local companies and newcomers in our region, and we provide the state support of export for entering international market, and to getting inside the global industrial chains, and also we provide the complex supervision of foreign contracts, and supporting in concluding these contracts. Also, we provide custom declarations and of goods, and provide subsidies for transportation and storage of exporting goods, and provide logistic provision and others. So this also the new reality of investment in to not only provide conditions, which is platform and so to say tax incentives, and provide the long-term support for the activities of the company, so which can be various due to the macroeconomics and conditions are changing constantly. So that is why we try to be up to date to all the spheres, and export right now is really of great importance. Next, please. As for ready-made platforms, so we also try to provide as much variance as possible for platforms for localization of your production, and our companies can choose between special economic zone, so ready-made building of in very good condition, of very low cost, and with minimum tariffs, which is important for Russia. Tariffs for power supply, for example, and water supply, and so on. They can choose between greenfield and brownfield. They can choose between territories with special regimes, I mean special economic zones, territory of advanced social economic development in Russia, and regional parks, and regional investment project statuses, and so on. So all the variety is provided inside Ulyanovsk, and which is the best is next please, is that together with this variety, it is provided the extremely experienced team of support of investors. I mean my company, because we was created more than 10 years ago for provide the best support for investors for investment projects implementation in our region, and we will provide in full range of support the entire process project implementation. And you can ask all the companies which are already operate, international companies which are already operating in the Ulyanovsk region, which are which are the conditions, what is not supported. So you can see there's some logos here. And most of these companies realize not just one project, but several projects inside our region. And this reputation means a lot for us. So thank you very much. So here are my contacts. So next slide, please. So my contact details, and I will be glad to answer questions. And the last slide is hello from our marketing director. He's in Poland. Someday someone will take him to Canada. So then some encyclopedia facts about Ulyanovsk city for you. So I'm really glad to be here today, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Alina, for your presentation. We have seen great examples and great names of different multinational corporations working in your region, which is very exciting. And as well as we learned more details about the state support, what state can do for the foreign investors doing business in Russia and in Ulyanovsk region in particular. So we will move like 100 kilometers away from Ulyanovsk, 100 or so, down to the south, and we will land in Tolyatti. We will land in Tolyatti, and I'm happy to introduce Sergey Andreev, who is the CEO of the Special Economic Zone in Tolyatti. So in previous times, Sergey has been holding different public positions, and for the last 2 years, if I'm correct, 3 years already. Okay, thank you. For the last 3 years, Sergey has been heading the Special Economic Zone in Tolyatti, and I welcome you to share your experience and basically tell us about the benefits of which foreign investors can expect from your region.
Okay, hello. It's a great privilege for me to meet you. In Russia, we have a good proverb. A good start is a half of success. And now I'd like to explain you why Special Economic Zone is the best entrance for starting production in Russia. First of all, Special Economic Zone is a government project which has already worked more than 15 years. And let me introduce 5 simple but important facts about Special Economic Zone, which help especially foreign business to save time and money. The first fact, Timur told about this, it is about people, about experienced and professional team of the management company in each Special Economic Zone. This team assists our residents to interact with federal or local authorities, and your success, the success of your business, is the success of our management company. Why? Because KPI of our management company depends of residents' revenue, profit, and volume of investment. Okay. Okay. And realize how management team of Tolyatti's Special Economic Zone professionally works. The company from the USA, Japan, Spain, Germany, Turkey, Slovenia, and France decide to start the production here in Special Economic Zone in Tolyatti. There is something that all these companies have in common. They are manufacturers of automotive components. Next, I will tell you why they are here. The second fact that's helped foreign company to save time and money is land. The territory of each Special Economic Zone, like our, but like the Ulyanovsk and other one, is especially provided for manufacturing activities. and all legal issues about land have already solved, and you save time. Now you will be impressed with our land value. It is so unbelievably low that you cannot even imagine it. $1,218 Canadian per hectare. For instance, if your territory of your factory is 3 hectares, you will pay less than 4,000 Canadian dollars. Really, special economic zone of Toryat is located in 1 kilometer distance from Avtovaz. It is the largest car manufacturing company in Russia. In our country, there are 3 territories with big clusters of automotive industry: St. Petersburg, Kaluga, and the largest cluster is here at the river Volga, including Toryat, Ulyanovsk, and Nabережные Челны. Our maximum capacity of Avtovaz is 1 million vehicles per year. And the third fact that's again save your money and time is industrial infrastructure. Land plots which are our special economic zone and others provided to our residents have all necessary interits such as gas, electricity, power, water supply, and all connection is free of charge. I want to emphasize that in Russia it is not free, and it may consist of 20 or 30% of the budget of the new construction. Also, we have very low rates. In the beginning, Dmitry told about this, that, for example, the rate for electricity is only 6 cents per kilowatt hour, and the rate for water supply is 9 cents per cubic meter. The third fact is tax benefit and free customs zone. My colleagues told about this and mentioned about this, I will not talk about this now because I think you hear about this before. And why this benefit is so important? For example, for automotive, the automotive market in Russia is really perspective, and the state supports the development of the automotive components industry. Due to some government measures, the import of finished car is much less profitable than local production, and large aftermakers such Renault, Volkswagen, Nissan, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes assemble car and require these suppliers to localize the production of components here in Russia. Therefore, tax incentives help to achieve the profit for this company when they have a production. And the fifth fact is about people. Labor potential. In each special economic zone, we help to employ high qualified specialists for our residents. For example, Toryat located in, now a special economic zone located in Toryat. It is one of the 20th largest city in Russia, and our city have more than 20 higher education institutes, and qualified and inexpensive labor force is compared with Western countries, allow export of products of residents of special economic zone. For example, our residents export their products to Renault factory in Europe and Latin Americans. Finally, I'd want to tell you not about money and time. We live in these similar countries. They are large, beautiful with similar climate. And for example, Toryat and Ulyanovsk are on the same geographical latitude as the Canadian city Edmonton. Okay, I want you in Toryat, invite you in Russia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sergey. I very much like your concise structure of the presentation and basically summarizing in brief the key benefits of working in a special economic zone, and in particular in your beautiful region. So I'm happy to introduce our next speaker, Natalia Yushko. She is CEO of the Special Economic Zone Moglina, which is located in Pskov region, which is further up to the north from the place where we have just been. Natalia has got a wealth of domestic and international investment experience, including Australia and New Zealand. She would cover some topics. We have heard a lot about different types of benefits like customs and tax, but she will speak about other types of incentives and benefits which foreign investors can get when entering the Russian market through the special economic zone. So thank you very much, Natalia. Welcome you.
Hello, my Russian counterparts, and hello, Vancouver business audience. Thanks for hosting me today on behalf of my Moglina Special Economic Zone, Pskov region. What can the Special Economic Zone offer for foreign companies besides providing high-quality industrial infrastructure with completed facilities as well as tax and customer benefits? I will cover this question today. Firstly, in order to take advantage of this opportunity, companies will be actually think in much more integrative way around how to create manufacturing flexibility in their supply chain, and then fully take advantage of that through their value chain to the market. So we do believe that being proximate to demand is going to be increasingly important in more and more segments. It means that your manufacturing strategy has to connect very closely to the value you are creating through the supply chain. And therefore, the collaboration with your customers will be critical to getting the market chunk. Taking into account the growth of population, the vast majority living in the emerging regions, there will be an extra 1.8 billion consumers. The second thing that companies will need to do is really think through technology strategy. Many companies have incrementally improved technology, but many actually in some segments have focused more on the capability of scaling the world for new technology advantages and understanding where those can be applicable to their supply chain, to their manufacturing, and how to assess those technology either through the development capability internally or more often with partners. Last thing is the potential that company will need to have in order to successfully take advantage of these trends and opportunity in Russian localization is the ability to cultivate their supply base and to really develop it beyond probably what they have done before. But also really thinking about how they are the center of a whole ecosystem that has the right kind of skill sets, the right kind of technology innovation and investment pipeline, and the right kind of joint development on new technology for manufacturing in order to truly take the advantage or opportunity at hand. So I will show you the our Moglina paradigms. Yeah.
Paradise, right?
Paradigms strategy. We follow by the paradigms. Co-paradigms, yeah. Paradigms, guys. So, cluster collaboration and scaling of value chains. This direction is focused on the broad involvement of the regional raw material base in the production process of sales residents. Our anchor tenant, for instance, the Titan Polymer, has specialized on polymer material synthesis that provides the opportunity for developing industrial cooperation with the small, medium entities, ensure transfer of innovation biosynthesis technology. We intend to leverage small and medium entity, which will be followed for our anchor leading edge manufacturer with the continuing development, the ecosystem of innovation. That is first paradigm. Cluster concept. The second one, third, and fourth. I will explain like that. Creating a base for the development of science and R&D and the innovation technology, commercialization, aims at creation and development of special infrastructure and competence center. Currently, we have formed the regional specialization in the field of cooperation with the local university, State University, targeted training of highly qualified specialists in biology, chemistry subjects as fundamental research, including ecology subjects as well. A foreign company that interested in transfer technology and business model for the regional market microstrategy can find the options to derive benefits from such localization. Next, our prospective goal, industrial technopark, based on innovators, incubators and startups that can promote technology transfer and service upgrades. Technology commercialization infrastructure run up extensively. Develop a venture capital ecosystem is our future prospect, while funding the high technology enterprises supported by a government program right now. We have adopted the 11 programs from Industrial Development Fund that are offered 5-year loan equal on amount of $7 million USA with only 1% of interest in the national currency. The next one, logistics solutions to support the e-commerce businesses on the cross point of 3 huge agglomerations related to my region particularly. The development direction of the regional logistic hub is aimed at creating a gateway between the centers of production and demand, supporting the micro-strategy market penetration. An intermodal dry port involves handling cargo that drives on trucks and is then sent by rail. The work of the dry port will be focused on special economic zone residents and third parties, which is already being negotiated. The advantages of this strategic direction include use our natural economic and geographical advantages of the cross-country cooperation joined along with the One Belt conception. To sum up, what benefits can bring Russian localization for foreign companies? We believe there are 5 parts or to an effective innovation ecosystem will be delivering knowledge, scientific and educational institutions that cultivate innovative technologies and share resources, capital, investment pipeline that finance technology commercialization, leading enterprises, well-managed, mature enterprises, they have broad market reach and research or manufacturing facilities. Innovators, incubators and startups that can promote technology transfers and service upgrades. Of course, government, active service-oriented power that creates supportive policy and provide the necessary infrastructure. The boundaries among these 5 elements are not precisely defined. In fact, they're increasingly blurred. Each can affect the other. Thus, the idea of an ecosystem is running along with the triple helix by Henry Itzkovitz, boiling down the converged efforts of science, government, and industry. Thanks for listening. Switch.
Thank you, Natalia.
Hello, guys. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Appreciate if you will have any question. I'm ready to answer. Yeah.
Thank you, Natalia, for your presentation. So far, we have not received any questions in the chat, but I'm sure that once everyone has digested the contents of today's presentations, they would be able to contact the relevant speakers directly, as there are contact details shared in the relevant presentations. I know that we are slightly behind this schedule, but we have the last comment from Pavел Tatarенko from Tula Region Development Corporation. Just for 3-5 minutes, he wanted to share some last news about the experience of foreign investors doing business in Tula region.
Yeah, hello, dear friends. I hope that my comments are the last but not the least. Today's speech will be divided into 2 parts. First of all, I would like to make a short introduction of Tula region. And the second part, I would like to share our experience of this partnership with the McCain company, which decided to localize their factory in Tula region in our special economic zone of Slovenia. Okay, let's start. First part, it's about Tula. As you know, Tula region is well known all over the world as a birthplace of famous writer Lev Tolstoy, and also as a factory of Russian weapons. But today, Tula region is not only the region with a great history and talented people, but also a territory where you can conduct profitable and successful business. We can offer to foreign investors 2 perspective development areas and 1 state-owned special economic zone with a large number of tax benefits and very low cost of land. For example, the price of 1 hectare in special economic zone is about $3,000. We are also situated near to Moscow. As you know, Moscow is a main market of Russian Federation, and we have a population of 1.5 million people. Now, at the moment in Tula region, more than 5,000 enterprises are operating, and 200 of them have foreign capital. It's so well known all over the world companies as Procter & Gamble, Unilever, Knauf, Great Wall Motors, and so on. And this year, Tula region firstly entered in top 3 of the best regions of Russia for investment. Okay, now let's start with McCain companies. As you know, McCain Food Limited Company, it's a Canadian multinational private company, which was founded in 1957. It's the world's largest producer of frozen potato. And now this company has more than 20,000 employees and 47 production facilities in different continents all over the world. And since July 2019, McCain Company, Tula Region Development Corporation, and the government of Tula Region have been working together to implement a potato production project in the territory of Special Economic Zone of Zlovaya. For this period of time, McCain Company application for STES resident status has been approved by the government, and now we are working under the signing of investment agreement with them. The prospective volume of investments will be more than 20 billion rubles, and we are planning to launch this factory in the third quarter of 2023. And McCain plan to produce more than 50,000 tons of products per year. It's really we are very proud of this project, and we had very long period of negotiation with McCain. They choose between different regions all over the Russian and between different special economic zone, but definitely with the help of our government, with the help of our governor also, who almost every day was in charge of this project, asked about the process of our negotiation. And by the way, we did it. We just ensured McCain that Tula region now is the best region for localization of their project. I'm very proud for this, and as I told you, we are ready to share with our experience of cooperation with McCain. I'll also leave my contacts in our chat, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me anytime by telephone or by email. I'm also inviting all the potential investors to visit Tula region, and to make sure of this, we'll be happy to meet you. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm always in contact. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pavel. As I said, you're more than, all of you are more than welcome to send your questions, if not to this chat because we are out of time by now, but you can address them directly to the relevant speakers, as all slides and presentations, they will be available on the websites of AIP and CERBA. We of course welcome all your follow-up questions, and we look forward to meeting you in person next time, as we have initially planned, but unfortunately the pandemic has changed our plans. So I would like to thank all of the participants for joining us today, for staying with us. Well, I hope it was not because only of your morning coffee or evening tea, but you really enjoyed the presentations. I also would like to thank Mr. Mihайлов and Mr. Максимов for finding time in their busy schedules and being able to be with us today and sharing their thoughts. Many thanks to the Association of Industrial Parks for partnering with CERBA and organizing this event. And of course, many thanks to the speakers for their great presentations and sharing their experience and thoughts with all of the participants. And last but not least, I would like to thank Vera Diduda and Yana Leles for settling all organizational, administrative, and technical matters today.
Sergey, if I can to add a couple of words, I also would like to thank on behalf of the Association of Industrial Parks all Canadian participants. I hope we shared useful information, but I would stress that we are interested to continue the dialogue. And if you need some specific question, you can do it not public, but directly address it to CERBA or to us, and we will provide specific information in the future. So, and I also hope that we will continue such type of events. Probably the next gonna be face-to-face and in person, maybe in Russia or in Toronto. So let's continue the dialogue. Thanks a lot to all of us.
Yes, we hope so too. Thank you, Dennis, and thank you all for being with us today.
Yeah, I would just like to say that all the presentations are already available on CERBA website. So if you'd like to review them, you can go online. You have the link already in the chat. So please go ahead, as well as we'll be also happy to connect you with all the presenters today. And we're very much looking forward to welcome AIP in Toronto, in Canada, and continue the collaboration and the dialogue and supporting the bilateral relations between Canada and Russia as well.
We just, by the way, all our participants who planned to visit Canada for face-to-face event, we just got approval for our Canadian visas. Good news.
Yeah, perfect.
We're still not able to travel, but we are able from legal perspective. We can do it now.
So we're looking forward, the borders now to be open, so that you don't need to spend in quarantine. Yeah,
yes,
so
looking forward to meeting you in person here.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you very much, everyone, once again, and then we're looking forward to seeing you back.
Thank you.
Cheers.